Hello everybody and welcome back to Radio Redux. It's time for some Overclock remix to start things off. This is River Sound with The Wander, from the Final Fantasy V Fabled Warriors album. See you in a bit. Up first there, we had, as I was saying, River Sound and the Wander from Final Fantasy V, The Fabled Warriors, disc number 2, Water, overclocked remix track, one of the overclocked records. I think it's still overclocked records, is still carrying on as far as I'm aware. And following that, we actually had some House of the Dead 4, which I'm guessing you probably weren't expecting to be played. It's Dawn, remix of the year 7th. Nice to see that House of the Dead still has broken English, even in the naming conventions of its tracks. But yeah, played that the other day and was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised by that. Really enjoyed that. So, oh my god, it's August. I'm not quite sure how this has occurred. August, didn't we have New Year the other day? It feels 2020 is, obviously we all know it's been such a year, and time is just this very brittle, fragmented thing this year. It's a piece of glass full of spider cracks, and you're not quite sure which crack you're going to fall down or whether it's going to break entirely. It's like an old wall that's wavering dangerously in the wind, and you're not quite sure when it's going to fall, what direction it's going to fall, and if you're going to get trapped underneath it at the time. It is crazy that we're in August, and July just went by in an absolute blink of an eye. In fact, June did too. And we're now at the situation where we're 2/3 through the year, guys, more or less. We're 2/3 through this crazy, horrible, ghastly year. What else could it throw at us? For the love of God, don't say that. It might take it as a challenge. So, how have I been? Well, I don't know what happened, but Friday, end of July, very last day, it suddenly decided, and the UK guys will know this, who are listening in, it suddenly decided that summer was going to start. We'd had nice days. And we've had like a couple of reasonably hot days, but not a big summer, not a big hot summer. Then the 31st of July happened. And it's like even the climate and the calendar is like completely screwed and doesn't know what's going on. It's like August should be like the heart of summer, but it turns out that oh crikey, it's the start. We should do something, and that something was apparently to be really, really hot. Oh. The kind of hot where it just stays hot. The kind of hot where you walk outside from being indoors and it being, I'm guessing it's quite hot outside, and you walk outside and you hit a wall. You hit a wall of humidity. The kind of hot where you're walking, as I was, down after work, walking down the street, get a bus, get my tram, get my train, get myself home. I have to take so many bits of public transport to get home, which, as you can imagine, is quite fun at the minute. And what you end up getting is this slow sensation that the ground's really sucked up a lot of heat. The distinct sensation of, are my shoes melting? Thankfully they weren't, but oh my goodness, I could just feel the heat from the pavement coming through. And I can't believe it. I really can't. And apparently we've got like 10 days of some sort of African sweltering temperatures coming our way at some point. So we've got that to look forward to as well in the time to come. But a few things have changed personally for me, actually. Number one being because this is the first time I've been able to say anything since. Because we've had a couple of weeks on Radio Sega at the very least. If you're listening to this on the podcast version, just remember this is played on Radio Sega first. Our very good friends at Radio Sega, as part of the last minute continue block, the LMC block, and we had the LMC cast the last couple of weeks, which wasn't going to be a couple of weeks, but it turned out to be a couple of weeks because it's a really long show. To the point where actually we were playing a game last night, and the first thing that was said when the game was finished by the guys was like, maybe we could play this on LMC cast. And I'm just like, maybe not this one. Maybe this one. This is a bit too wordy. But I might come round to it, actually. I may come round to it. It's just a question of getting people a bit more talkative. We'll see. But things have changed very, very dramatically on July 19th. Which was, I think that was a Sunday. I'm pretty certain it was a Sunday. In that I woke up in the morning and I had the privilege of waking up next to the person I love, and I told them that I did love them, unsurprisingly, because I do. And it was the right time to ask them to marry me. So I am engaged again. This is bizarrely the second time I've announced engagement on Radio Readers. When was the engaged show or fully engaged show or whatever the heck it was? I'm curious now. Who knows? No, actually, no, seriously. I mean, wait, whoa. I'm actually genuinely curious now because there was a show all about becoming engaged. This isn't going to be a show all about becoming engaged, but I'm just curious as to like the number of shows between. So I desperately try and get Last Minute Continues backside to do stuff. There's so much going on. Engage. The prior engagement show. Oh wow, the prior engagement show was show 49. And I believe this is show 211 or 212, one of the two. Yeah, that was a long time ago, guys. That was like 2008. So, yeah. 12 years later. And, yeah, I'm really happy. And of course, you know what happens when when things like that do occur? People want to know, and people work desperate to know. So, how did you do it? How did she react? You know, did you get on one knee? Did she leap up in the air? Did she smile? Did she dance? Did she prance on the table? Did she climb up on a chair? Did she say no? Did she say yes? Did she? Yeah. Did she smile shyly? Did she leap on you, tear all your clothes off? And yes, well, no to all of those. It was one of those things. Me and Kat DoubleXXCross, as I'm sure you're aware, I've been together for some time. Everyone found out in 2016 Summer Sonic, but we've been going a while before then. People just didn't know because it was just our thing, and it was. I don't know. It was just a case of. It was the right time. We'd kind of known about this and discussed it for a while. That hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and thankfully she was very much in agreement with that. But yeah, no, it's just lying in bed was the right time to ask her. It was just. It's difficult to describe how nice it is to wake up, see the person that means the most to you in your life there, wake up as well, eye contact, both smile, just happy with yourself and your lot. For a long time, I have not been that. For a long time, I was not that. For a number of reasons. And Kat has helped me. and I'm looking forward to the future. Of course, that's the other question. It's like, so when are you going to get married? When is it going to happen? What are you going to do? And it's like, we may not get married. It's purely a case of doing what needs to be done first. You know, there's stuff that needs to happen. We're going to move in together in probably half a year or so, maybe, possibly, TBC. There's all sorts of stuff that's going to happen, and there's all sorts of stuff that needs to be arranged. But, you know, we're not going to get married for a couple of years at the absolute earliest. And as somebody who has been married, I'm honestly not that fussed. And I'm a little bit about marriage generally. Kat's happy. Kat has a ring. Keeps showing it to absolutely anybody. Little C. One thing she has been doing is bouncing, and she's like bouncing around happily, just pretty much everywhere she goes. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing. This wondrous future of ours, whatever it shall be. But I'll get off the topic of me now, because that's not interested in the slightest. We'll get on to some music, and you know what? Let's have some Project Diva Second. Well, it's part of Project Diva Second. Yeah, in fact, this particular track is the version from 39's Giving Day. We are having a butterfly on our right shoulder. And this is the Lennon Rin version, specifically from that. Because I like that version. And hey, when was the last time anyone actually played Vocaloid stuff on here?
For 15 years, bringing you the best in video game music. This is Radio Redux.
Hatsune Miku Project Diva second, Lennon Rin with Butterfly on Your Right Shoulder, the 39's Giving Day edition live version from that particular show, followed by Jesper Kid with the Darksiders 2 soundtrack and Crystal Spire. That's a very nice one, wasn't it? When are we going to get that? When is that franchise ever going to end, Darksiders? Who knows at this point? I don't think they know. Isn't it like one game every light year or something? There is an overall story to Darksiders. Just saying this. Darksiders is worse than Kingdom Hearts in that regard. There's been waiting for, resolution to this slow burn plot. When was Darksiders 1? I'm looking up stuff again, sorry. Darksiders 1 was 2010. Darksiders franchise. Okay, so did we actually have? Right. Okay, so we got Darksiders in 2010. With War, we had Darksiders 2 in 2012, which doesn't feel like it was that at all. With Death, with 6 years wait for Darksiders 3. With Fury, and we need to have Darksiders 4 at some point. There was like a spin-off prequel, which had Strife in it. I don't know. Did Darksiders actually end then? Oh, I don't know. It's confusing. But then again, it is something that came under THQ, so God knows what on. Did it come under THQ? Yes. Well, it was probably just all a dream. Yeah. Was it THQ? Yes. Well, it probably never happened. It was just all a figment of your imagination. It's the equivalent of, it's equivalent of Dallas, but just with video games. Anyway, that's not what I was actually going to talk to about at all here at this part. So let me picture a scene for you. Two children, who are experiencing, the pains of growing up and the worries and the troubles that come from being young, and faced with the world around them, and the pain and the hardship and the realities of the difficulties that they face. They come across a mystical land of fantasy, magic and illusion. And through interacting with it and a large-eyed guide/guardian, they are able to overcome their fears and set about a new path into adulthood and be able to cope with all that is there. You'll be unsurprised to know I am actually not talking about Nights into Dreams. I'm talking about Balan Wonderland, which was announced during the Xbox showcase. The new creation from Yuji Naka, formerly of Sonic Team, still of ProPay, and now of Square Enix. He and Oshima-san are working on this game for Squeenix, which is not Nights into Dreams at all. There might be a slightly goth antagonist as well, but that's nothing to do. There's no correlation there at all. This mysterious, charismatic being has a tendency to wear things on their head. It's not, like a very signature hat. There's nothing signature. T.A. Black put it best. T.A. Black, member of the LMC crew. Balan Wonderworld. Sorry, I said did I say Balan Wonderland? It's very easy to say Balan Wonderland. Balan Wonderworld feels like, I mean, it's Nights into Dreams with the serial numbers filed off. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about today, in a more serious note, or as serious as we can get on Radio Redux. I know sometimes that's very serious. It's very serious. It's very real world. This is a little bit of fun. So there are. Okay, so Naka-san's the creator of Nights, and he loves Nights, and that's fine. And it's like, this is Night. Balan looks like it's Nights in the Dreams without the flight, and not in dreams, but in a dream world with two kids again. With a dash of Polar Express there as well for some goddamn reason. Tom Hanks to play Nights in the film, everybody. By the way. Hot chocolate. I mean, is there an owl? Do we get an owl? We've got Dream Drops. Literally, Dream Drops look pretty much exactly the same. From Nights into Balan Wonderworld, like, you're collecting similar things. You're going through. I mean, it's a 3D fighter, but some of the characters look the same. We've got one that looks a bit. There was one enemy there that looked very Puffy-esque. Like I say, we've got Neo Reala as not the Prince of Nightmares, but the Prince of Sadness. Oh, I'll touch you with my tentacle of sadness, and you have been overcome by dark and negative emotions. And I'm kind of actually worried about that a little bit. It's very easy to say, oh yes, fear and stuff and bad, and sadness is bad. Sometimes it's very helpful. Fear is there's a Star Trek Next Generation speech about fear that Picard does, and how it's one of the captains does in one of the Star Trek shows, that fear being is it Voyager? Yeah, it might be Voyager actually. Might be an episode about Voyager. And I think, in which case Janeway does this discussion about this. There's a mysterious malevolent entity which is actually just fear, and about fear being the only real reason that fear is there is to be conquered. But fear is helpful. Fear is a guide. Fear is it's just I don't know. Will they sing? Probably. I mean, we already know there's a dance number at the end, because the entire thing is about musical theatre, which is cool. That's a little bit different. It also feels a little bit Rhythm Thiefy actually. I got a little bit of a Rhythm Thief vibe from it, but that's because I just love the aesthetic of Rhythm Thief so much. But there really is a lot of similarity, and the question I really wanted to ask today is, it's the original creator, but it's not like Nights has gone away. Nights has not gone away. Nights is still around. A game comes out once in a blue moon, and probably SEGA didn't actually have any plans for anything relating to a Nights game for a little while at least. But I'm just... if it's an active friend, it's one thing to do, oh yes, this is the spiritual successor to blah, when the character and the franchise is technically still in use. Because is that appropriate when it's an IP that Sega cares about Nights? Sonic Team certainly cares about Nights. They do love Nights, and it's I think Nights is Nights is probably one of their biggest frustrations, based on the interactions that they've had, because they love Nights and they kind of want an excuse to do a Nights. what you had with Journey of Dreams was the Wii and the Wiimote and the ability to sort of like move around and with the Wiimote. That was like an excuse to do a Knights game, and they'd love to do an excuse to do a Knights game again. The problem is, of course, it being a non-Sonic SEGA franchise game, naturally it made butt kiss in terms of money, and just if you know all the others. But whilst I'm not expecting us to have a Mighty Number 9 situation with this, because hey, it looks good. I mean, it looks properly good. You've got Square Enix behind it, so it should. It should. Whilst I like the aesthetic of Rhythm Thief, I'm not overly enthralled with the aesthetic of this. But yeah, it's literally as well. It's like they're growing up in a city that looks a little bit Bellbridgey as well. Oh, some of the locations that say I don't know. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic little game. And everyone's already really enamored with the character because hey, it's got that aesthetic, that aesthetic that Knights has, and in terms of the pirouetting and the, almost like the balletic like movements and the mysterious and the showmanship, and it's like, yeah, but Knights is still used. Knights has been in more Sonic games than most of the Sonic cast. Remember? So it's and Knights is like, unless somebody says otherwise, they're not like, it's not like they're unfamiliar with how important Knights is to the Sega fans. Also, I must admit, when I was looking at this, my initial thought was, actually, wow, this looks like Digi Valentine's fan character if you just dressed him up in a white suit and stuck a top hat over his eyes. There's something about there's a similarity there, which only just made things worse. So I don't know. It feels to do that feels a little bit, in a way, disrespectful. I'm all for Nakasan making a Knights game. He had an interest in how Journey of Dreams did, and they sort of asked Nakasan's permission, well, just was his blessing to do one. They really don't have to do that now. It was more a courtesy of, hey, you were involved in this, we're thinking of doing one using the game using this. What do you think about that? And he was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I'll be interested to hear your comments on what you think. I have been messaged by a number of people, and it seems very split in that it seems that, yeah, this looks good, but it feels like Knights has been done dirty in a way, because this is kind of what a Knights game should potentially be, but just with Flight. And there's so many styling cues, plot cues, game mechanic cues. Hey, go for a mysterious hub world and go into various levels via doors. Well, I'm glad that's not in Knights. Oh wait, it's in Journey of Dreams. There's just too much similarity. I know it's in a very, very early stage, but it feels too similar. Where does Spiritual Successor end and Clone / Crib begin? Where is that line of appropriateness? Because honestly, at the moment, I'm not sure. Something for us to keep an eye on for a later date. Speaking of nights, we're going to have some nights music now. Of course, we're actually going to have our second Overclock remix track of the day, aren't you, lucky people? This is from their Nights Lucid Dreaming album, and Lies Within Dreams by Louisa. See you after that. Some Valkyria Chronicles for you there. Nice track by Hitoshi Sakamoto. Randgriff City. That one? I love the Valkyria Chronicles soundtrack. It's one of those games that I really want to play. When I say games I really want to play and just haven't got around to it. I'm sure I own it somewhere. I think I might have wangled a copy back in the day, but yeah, not having a PS3, I believe it was at the time, and not exactly a PlayStation console guy. I've not had the opportunity since. And before that, of course, from Night's Lucid Dreaming, Lies Within Dreams by Louisa, which is a remix of Deep It Lies. Got a couple more tracks coming up for you very, very soon. I wanted to give you a little quick update, though, for those who are interested on the status of the Last Minute Continue website and the conversion project and everything else that is going on. The good news is, and it is a good news, is that we are closing in. We are closing in. We've got to the point where pretty much all that's left to do from like the normal posts and converting is the Sonic Boom commentaries stuff. So it's those posts. Those posts take a little while. They're a bit fiddly to actually do because there's a lot of stuff that goes on with them now in the new theme. But so there's those, and there's a couple of videos, like video only posts, and other than that, the rest of the ones currently in the WordPress pending folder, if you will, all of those are basically Donnie's TSSZ posts. So that's great. In fact, I've even started doing. Donnie's converting them in the moment, but I've even last week or so done like 2 or 3 posts, articles, historical ones that came up that I thought, oh, I've actually got images for those already in the library, so I'll put those on there. I also had a word with Tristan. I know one of your clearly one of your favourite people, but we've been keeping into contact because July 31st was actually the deadline day, if you like, that we were going to just do the last bits of transfer over, but with in terms of like media and the last files, etc. But we decided to like put a hold on that. Tristan's working on converting some stuff over from Cute News, which a few sites used back in the day, including Sonic Rex, who originally used Cute News. He's actually converting some of the old stuff from, proper the Supersonic Zone days. Post 2003, 2004, 2005 stuff. He's converting those over, and that's taking a little bit more time. But frankly, I am very busy the next week, so as I've told him, there's not much I really would like to do in that regard. So that's nice and put on the back burner. But we are getting there. I'm going to be able to start working on the actual remaining mini pages soon, little holding pages for this, that, and the other, for like new sections and stuff. And then it's just a case of just getting all the comics done. And how that's going to be, I don't know. But then once that's done, we'll go live and we'll start putting some of the other archive stuff up as well. That'll be interesting. As I mentioned before, there's a new Sonic Rex comic. New storyline comic. It's ready to go. It's missing the disclaimer. I've had the comic for like 3 weeks and I've not done the disclaimer yet because I'm putting it off for reasons best known to me. And so we've got that. I don't know. I'm going to do a couple more changes actually. I'd be interested in doing. I'm not quite sure how this is going on, but I have been very, very happy, and I know this is obviously going out on Radio Sega, but in all honesty, the support that Radio Sega have shown me and LMC in recent years has been staggering. Best support we've ever received from any site, hands down. has been Radio Sega. Actually, that goes back to the engagement announcement. It was interesting who didn't congratulate me. So yeah, lots to do. So what I would like to do, in all seriousness, I'm interested in doing getting the now. If I can see if we can get the now and next for Radio Sega working on LMC, and do a bit of promotion for Radio Sega that way. It's been in my head for a little while. It's like how we would do that, and a proper link off to Radio Sega, maybe playing Radio Sega. Who knows? I don't know. There's some technical stuff there, but I want to give back a little bit to Radio Sega, in if I can, in terms of promotion. I need to add Radio Sega to the Twitch list. That's what I need to do. Not just the auto host, but as our friends who are actually on the navigation bar for under Twitch. Let's plays and stuff for live streams. There's a lot going on, some exciting stuff, and I'm very much looking forward to getting into all the other stuff and getting this site live. I really would like to get it live. I know there's frustrations that it's not live from some quarters, but I really think it has to be in a position to be, this is all the stuff, then we build live. But yeah, it's just a question of just getting it done, and only I can realistically do it, which sucks. We don't need all the TSSE stuff live. That's the thing. As long as all the LMC stuff historically is there, then we're good to go. And then we can build up the other stuff, and it'd be fun because some stuff's coming back and some stuff's gonna get a bit of a new lease of life. We'll see. There are plans afoot. Speaking of plans, a man who most definitely had a plan was Kane from the Command and Conquer series. So we're actually going to have some Command and Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight and Things Fall Apart. That's going to be your next track. And following that, we're going to have another game with a lot of action in it, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and the theme music from the Manhattan level. So that's your next two tracks, Command & Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight and Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus. And after that, we've got some Sega stuff to discuss, believe it or not.
On iTunes, Spotify, and Radio Sega, you're listening to Radio Redux.
before we disappear, some Sega news. I mean, to be honest, the Yuji Naka stuff was more about Xbox and Square Enix than anything. But there is some interesting Sega news, and that Sega's president, Kenji Matsubara, has resigned. Former Tecmo Koei and Zynga Japan CEO. He's been with Sega for 6 years. First joined 2014 as the CTO for the Sega Networks division. And then worked his way right to the top. So it'd be very interesting to find out what's going to happen now with the role. Who's going to take over? Bearing in mind everything that's going on in terms of that's been happening in Japan with the restructuring and everyone going and being in the same building and yada yada yada, should be interesting. But I don't think anybody's really covered that yet within the community press, as it were. But yeah, official notice of resignation released by Sega Sammy said that he'll leave the company as of Friday, citing personal reasons as the reason for his departure. So yeah, make up your own mind what those might be. Additionally, Sonic Dash, good old Sonic Dash, Sega and Hardlight. It's already somewhat unfortunate in a strange way that the most successful Sonic game of all time is Sonic Dash, and it is. Previously, the most successful Sonic game of all time was the original Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games, and prior to that it was Sonic Heroes, in terms of the amount of money that's actually that the thing has generated. So yeah, this is coming from Pocket Gamer, and they've basically obtained data from an analytics company called Sensor Tower, which I can only assume you have to climb in order to view the rest of the map in the Ubisoft game you're playing. And apparently Sonic Dash has brought in like 10.8 billion in revenue since 2014. So not milking the Sonic fans at all. But yeah, which is apparently more revenue than the last 5 Sonic mobile games combined. So that's Sonic at the Olympic Games. In fairness, hasn't been around much. And I should also say Sonic and the Olympic Games 2, because there was the other Sonic at the Olympic Games, the one that was quickly axed and then shuffled under the carpet because they upset everybody by doing it. Sonic Forces, Sonic Dash 2, Sonic Boom, Sonic Runners, and Sonic Jump Fever. Hey, remember that? With both Runners and Jump Fever obviously being inactive. But and it doesn't include Sonic Racing, as that's part of Apple. But whatever the case, yeah, $10.8 million has been raised by Sonic Dash in its lifetime, and it's still going strong as an endless runner. We've got this. Interesting, the story must be wrong because it's saying that the 5 games have brought in 8.7 billion in revenue, which I'm pretty certain is supposed to be million. Just as a thing, because otherwise this story, which I'm actually reading off game industry, it would suggest that Sega Heroes, which isn't counted in it. If it had only featured Sega Heroes, it would have been like $11.2 billion. If it was making that much money, I'm rather suspicious of Sega Heroes going down. Also, Sega should be able to keep open as many arcades as it likes if it's making that much money off of Sega Heroes. But yeah, lots of money. So Sonic, in any way, shape or form, which includes number of people who actually own it, because based on mobile installs alone, I believe it's like it's about 400 million that they said it was within the lifetime number of downloads of it. 400 million people have downloaded Sonic Dash for some goddamn reason. But that's your state of play. Your winner, undefeated, will never probably be defeated now. Sonic Dash is the most successful in terms of money, in terms of people that own it, in terms of people that played it. Sonic game of all time. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how Hardlight's still going, everybody. They're just making Buddy still hand over fist. Oh, dear. But yeah, so, Man at the Top's resigned. Also, most successful game in the franchise's history. Two very different sides of the same Sega-shaped coin there. I'm going to head off because it's that time, everybody. We're going to end things with the game Sega Swirl. With the split-screen challenge music. I don't know which colour the Sega Swirl is, by the way. Before anybody asks. Is it red? Is it blue? Is it orange? I don't care. Don't start an argument in Discord. No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. No. Bad Discord. Viper hit them with a newspaper or something. Bad Viper. No, not bad Viper. Bad Discord. It's all Viper's fault. Yeah. If it's Viper's fault, everybody, can you put hashtag Viper's fault in the Discord right now? That'd be great. I'd be very grateful. If it's not, it could be Twinny's fault, of course. So hashtag Twinny's fault or hashtag blame Twinny. Hashtag blame Twinny or hashtag Viper's fault. And if it turns out it's Gavi, just go hashtag it's Gavi. One of those three. It's going to be one of those three. And I'll be interested to see the results. Anyway, so we've got that, the split screen challenge. And then we're ending things with a weird one from Virtua Fighter Neo Rising, Stand Tall. That's like 7 minutes or something stupid. But a very interesting track from Virtua Fighter. That's going to be the end. One last bit of information. The next time we meet for Radio Redux, I won't be talking that much. And the reason is we have got a special show coming up. A special show that involves music. Lots of music. As in several hours of music. We are going to hit the road, everybody, for some prime racing tracks. And I don't mean the sort that you drive around. That's next time. Look out for that. But from me, Kevin, have a good rest of the week, everybody. Bye for now.
Stand tall, stand up to the winner now. You can defeat him. Your cold eyes, your heart burns like a fire now as you receive him, taking it away from all who came before you, giving it away to all who come forth. Who is right to say of the strength that you show them? They won't forget this day till you have gone. Smell sweat as his grip takes a hold of you. You can't escape. Forget all the rules that they taught you as you make your play.